I am coming to you because we need to talk about this. We need to talk about creating ironclad boundaries. Create those boundaries around every area of your life. Because if you don't, there are going to be some people who are going to push and they're going to try and get over as much as they can. All right? This is my fan from Tokyo. Who's this? Seiko? I don't know. Am I promoting them? I don't know. But I'm just saying, guys, you've got to make a decision to create these boundaries around your life. Because if you don't, they're going to be those who are going to push, and they're going to push, and they're going to keep trying. They're going to keep trying until they get as much out of you. It's called poking the bear. So I'm saying to you, what are some things that you need to create these boundaries around? Could it be your intellectual property? Could it be your time? That's one of the things I want to talk about, because there are people who are going to want to take a lot of your time. They will just want to take a lot of your time. They can't take what you choose not to give. So if you choose to give that, then that's perfectly fine. That's okay, because we all do that. What if you choose to show up and create those ironclad boundaries? Sounds easy, but that may not be the case. Because we're looking right now at, and this is only a few minutes, I'm not going to be here very long. I've said that before, right? But I just believe that is so important, because the more I'm thinking about it, the more I take time to review some of the things that I've allowed. If you notice, I've allowed them to happen over the past couple of years. There's nobody to point a finger at. It's not so much about laying blame. It's really about what I'm choosing to do. So whether you choose to make a decision or not, either way, it is a decision. And making decisions around your time, your energy, and all the other things that you have, that's a promise you would need to keep to yourself. Now, we see a lot of things that's happening right now at the time of recording. We're seeing where people, I've been talking about the layoffs, shutdowns, and whatever is happening, and that's going to keep happening in our jobs and things like that. And it comes time where you will have to make that decision about how you are going to handle yourself, how you are going to allow people to show up in your space. Ruiz, thank you for being here. Right? How you are allowing people for showing up. And so sometimes too, we may not think much about it. We may not think much about how people treat us. Maya Angelou said, the great doctor, late great, would say, Dr. Maya Angelou said, we teach people how to treat us. And by us not showing up for ourselves, and thank you for being here, Delmore, thank you for being here. Thank you for being one of the first ones to comment. When you don't step into your greatness, your life, the things that make you great, the things that make you unique, people will take advantage of it. Have you ever been at a place in a space where people took advantage of you because they think you're nice, and so they take your niceness for weakness? Because you're being so nice, oh, you're such a nice person, then it seems as if there's a lack of respect. Have you ever been there, to that place and space when you're starting to think what you bring, it's pretty darn good, but then they don't see it as such. And then the frustration from it, the frustration of allowing people to step over you, it has to stop. And you're going to need to make that decision that say it stops now. That you have to draw that line and say, this stops right here. Or sometimes too, you can say, if somebody says something to you and you don't like it, you can say, you know what? That doesn't feel right. And you can say how you feel, because my thing is this: if somebody has the audacity to say something to you, you should have the audacity in kindness and in understanding to let them know that doesn't feel good, you know, or the way what you said. And so sometimes too, you're going to have to do, these are some of the simple things in life that's going to make us, you know, your kid playing Fortnite. Yeah, you're right about that. I love these trolls. So if you are having people who are taking advantage of you, any situation and things that you felt that somebody's overstepped their bounds with you, you're going to have to stop it. You should choose to stop it. You should choose to say, enough is enough. I've had enough and it's no more. Now, sometimes too, people will say, you know what, well, I need the job. I need the job, so I am not going to even try and, you know, create waves. Sometimes you don't want to create waves. Sometimes you don't want to create waves because of what's happening. Because too, you know, sometimes you may have to think of it. Have you ever thought of, you know, I had a situation with someone and I already knew in advance that if I said anything to that person, I knew their reaction. But for a while, it was one Monday I was driving back from spending some time away. And whenever I have that long drive, I really start to think. And I said, you know what? I'm going to send this person an email. It took me over half hour to formulate that email. And I think when after they got it, because I had to be true to myself, when you are in situations where there are people who are making you feel uncomfortable, you're going to have to choose how you're going to deal with it. And so I chose to talk about it. I chose to write that email. I chose to write that email and that person did not like it. Bless up. It's Al. It's been a minute. How are you? Yeah, well, I'm talking about creating healthy boundaries. And Al, you were an educator, a teacher, and so you knew that boundaries were very important, especially when people who aren't your peers, right? They're not your peers, and especially if you have students and people that you're training or mentees, you have to create boundaries around it. Some of the boundaries are the social media boundaries. You don't have to, you know, I chose at even when I worked with people, I have boundaries with people that I worked with that I did not join them on social media, nor did I allow people to tag me from the job on social media because they could be saying something, Wanda, thank you. They could be saying something that I'm not in agreement with. Social media, that was one of the things that I placed boundaries around. So even if you have students or mentees or something like that, I did not allow any of that to connect with my media, you know? Wendy, is it? I already gave you a shout out. What's up with that? Yes, you have to set boundaries. And so there are people, I have some friends who they don't take new friends and they put it up in their social media that I do not take friends. And that's fine. And I don't get offended. Or my question to you, are you offended? Do you get offended by when somebody draw boundaries and say, oh, you know, that's not something that I do, or you just make it clear? Zaylene, Cook in Paradise, how are you? Oh my gosh, see you. What time is it where you are? Oh my gosh, where are you? Are you in, I'm thinking you're in Japan, because I was in Japan. Yeah, I was in Japan there for a while. That time zone was really, oh my goodness, it was something else. Yeah, but we're talking about boundaries. And you know, Zillian, you always seem to come on when I talk about boundaries. And boundaries shouldn't make you feel bad. You shouldn't feel bad about setting boundaries. You should not. And many times people will appreciate it. I'm one of those people, you know, if I overstep my boundaries, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with saying, oh, okay, or apologizing, but not for me to feel bad. There's some people, and I respect people who set healthy boundaries, set healthy boundaries. So this is a time, if you're still thinking about it, Because it comes a time when enough is enough, that you to say or choose to say, that's it. And so when you, the thing is, when you set those boundaries and you meet people, I'm in Singapore. Oh my gosh. For 29 years. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I was in Japan um about a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I can't even remember, because coming back, that time zone was something else. It was something, was it a week ago? I can't, yeah, maybe a week. All I know, it took me 4 days, maybe 2 weeks now. It took me, Sunday made it took me 4 days to even feel like myself. So that's the thing, 7:02. All right, so you're in the same time zone. There, I think it was a 13, or it was a big time difference. So this is the thing now. Are there any decisions that you or somebody needs to make? Because I know, Zelene, the last talk about it, maybe it was boundaries or forgiveness we were talking about. Kaniwa, I know. I enjoyed Japan. I enjoyed it. In my playlist, you will see when I went to Tokyo Towers. We went to, is it Shimbusu, or the big circle? No, the crosswalk. Shimbashi. No, or in Shimbashi. And then we went to, I can't remember. But I have tons of video to share there. Just need to edit them. But I enjoyed that. And what I love too in Japan, let's talk a little bit about Japan and how they set very strict, but you are able to go with the flow. One of the things with them was when you're walking in, there's certain boundaries they set. They set boundaries on the train. They ask you no loud talking, so nobody was talking loudly. When we were leaving the stadium, we left orderly. When you're walking in the train station, you know, they have the arrows that one go this way, one goes that way. No, no, no. We went for about a week, 9 days. Yeah, for about 9 days. But I'm just saying the recovery, my body, it took like on the third day there that I felt okay. But coming back, I think I was a little dehydrated too, because that's one of the things I have to be careful about. It'll take another 3.5 days for you to feel better. So no, we went for about 9 days, a little bit over a week. Yes. So, yes, Japan was very orderly. One of the things I loved about it, the streets are very clean, and there's no eating on the streets. And so those are boundaries that they set. And so what are you going to do? That's why people keep thinking people are going to be upset by boundaries. No, it's either you're going to fall in or you're going to fall out, right? Or you're not going to do it. And one of the things that we chose to do, not to eat on the streets, and I don't really eat on the streets here, because even in the Caribbean, you're taught that it's rude to walk and eat at the same time, right? You're walking and eating on the street. So that's not something that I do anyway. But they do have certain boundaries that they set. And one of them is no loud talking on the phone while on the trains. There's no pushing, there's no shoving, there's nothing. Streets are very clean, not a lot of garbage cans, but they are in specific places. So if you left the store, you can go back and put your trash there or keep your trash with you. That's setting boundaries that people can fall into those boundaries. So you go there. Andrew, hi, Andrea, thank you for being here. So you can go into another country, and because they have set those boundaries, you follow them. And if you don't, you're going to be the odd person out. And then that would be kind of rude. So just think of that, to set your boundaries, right? Then you're saying, but there are people that I know. Let me tell you, I feel that you're respected more if you have boundaries. If you don't, do you agree with me? Drop a one. I really feel that you get more respect if you have boundaries. And if you don't have them, so be it. You know, it is what it is. But I do feel, let me know your thoughts. Do you feel that you gain more respect when you have boundaries, or at least you feel that way? Because if you don't, people are going to take advantage of you. They're going to do what they feel that they want to. And that's something that I really don't I don't subscribe to rudeness and things like that. Hey guys, thank you for being here. Tapping on the screen, giving the thumbs up. You guys have been amazing. You're coming through and you're giving the thumbs up, and I absolutely like it so much. Don't forget that we do have our membership. Don't forget you can come back and watch some of the playlists. Check us out. Yes, we need those. I'm telling you, we definitely need those. And I always feel that for me now, I don't have to prove myself to anyone. But if you decide to make it known that you are, when I say when you make it known that these are the things that you live by, I feel that you do get more. Yes, you get more respect. And then you don't feel as if you are allowing people to step all over you. Because there's situations that I've given my time, my intellectual property, you know, just things that I've done because I truly want to see somebody win. But sometimes you're in places and spaces that there are people who don't see that. They don't see the value you're doing. And it comes off, it feels that's like, wow, what more can I do? And so there was a particular situation where exactly what I do to a certain level, it wasn't even being recognized. It was like nobody wanted to pay attention to it. And as much as I tried to offer this, okay, this is what we can do, this is what we should do. But as soon as we got somebody that they need to invest in, they started to pay attention. That's a lesson, right? But I sometimes too, you have to move yourself out of the way. You have to not let your ego, you know, choose to say, you know what, I'm not going to let my ego block an organization or my job or a relationship or something. My ego, I'm not going to allow my ego to block all of that. Right? Because but I'm here doing it. Many of you are doing things and like, oh my gosh, I'm giving so much value, but they don't see it. It's Allie say, boundaries are synonymous with order, and that makes one disciplined. Oh my goodness. I think I spoke about discipline, which is huge. And that's what I noticed in Japan. They are so disciplined. We were at the World Championships, the Tokyo World Athletics Championships. And one night was considered not a lot of people at the stadium. 55,000 people. I'm like, we need to get out of here before 55,000 people. And they're like, what are you worried about? Watch it. And guess what happened? They were so disciplined, so orderly, and we only have one space like to go there. I was like, wait a minute, how did we empty the stadium in no time, in like under half hour? Listen guys, 55,000 people. And the majority of the people were taking the trains. Thank God our train moving to where we were going to, it wasn't as crowded. But my goodness, how did we do that? When we left the train station, where did we go? Did we go to Shimbashi? No. Where were we?
When?
In Japan. You know, how we left the stadium. So we left the stadium. It was night when I thought 55,000 people wasn't a lot. And then we were able to empty that stadium in like, what, half hour? And it was no big deal. He's like, when? We were just in Japan. Hello? But yeah, Anisha LTV stopping by to say hello to the birthday girl. Hey, Anisha, I know you didn't watch my Japan stuff because I gave you a shout out when we went to the market. In the first minute and 30 seconds, I gave you a big shout out because there was some food stuff. And I said, Anisha LTV would be great for this. But thank you. I know you might be busy working. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll catch the replay later. Yeah, man, big up yourself. Thank you so much. Curtis Carter, thank you for being here. And so that's the thing. 55,000 people. out of that stadium, and it was amazing. That night when we saw Jamaica got gold and silver, and then Nawalaz came in third with the bronze. It was madness. It was crazy. Go on my IG, Instagram, RN2CE. You'll see me with my big flag. I had the big Jamaica flag. People were taking photos. They were so kind and so nice. They kept Jamaica, Jamaica. They wanted to take photos with us, and it was like being a rock star in Japan. But they were just so nice and so orderly that is possible. And so that's the culture. Discipline too, and boundaries around culture. You want to respect other people's culture. So you wouldn't want to go there eating and throwing stuff on the street. Not to say we do here, but like when you're up in New York and places, you see people. I've seen people, gosh, throwing things through the window of their car. And I'm not just saying New York. I'm not saying New York, but yeah, just up north. I've seen people do that. I don't see it a lot anymore. But I used to wonder, why would somebody drive their car and throw trash through the window? And here in Japan, there wasn't a lot of garbage cans, but they had them strategically, but there was no garbage on the floor. That's what a lot of people noticed from the videos, how clean it is. So yeah, we need to really set those boundaries around what we do. I'm going to say a lot of really talented people out there, and I'm one of those. And there were some things that I had off. Sometimes you had to cut some people off, because if you don't know when to stop, if you don't give them, you give them an inch, as they say, and they will take a yard, because maybe they were never taught that oh, maybe they're pushing too much. So sometimes you're going to assume that people should know better, but that's not the case. And sometimes too, you have to meet people where they are. Meet them where they are. For God, yeah, you have to meet people where they are. What am I talking about? I'm talking about setting boundaries, just like how I set boundaries on my live. If somebody come here and they're rude and they're nasty and disrespectful, baby, you are out. So that's one of the boundaries that I will give you a chance, right? So we have to set boundaries in the life that we live and the people that we connect with. And it may sound like it's a broken record, but there's some people who just don't know. And sometimes too, like today I was going to church and somebody, yeah, yeah, Forgotten Dreams is like, oh, if I was about to be a troll, she's about to say, no, not to say that you are, right? But sometimes too, you want to give people a chance. Give them a chance. But the moment you show me who you are, there's a quote that stated, when somebody show you who they are the first time, believe them. That might have been Dr. Maya Angelou again. When somebody show you who they are for the first time, when they show you who they are, believe them. And so I might have forgiven you, but the access to me is totally denied. And that's one of the boundaries that I set. Also, many of us are professionals. And we'll have other professionals too who may not even see what you're doing. But I got scared when I came to you, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Thank Forgotten Dreams. You don't want to do that. Yeah, just listen for a moment. So you might be somewhere in your life, and I appreciate you for that, in your life, that somebody, and even bullying. I'm going to do a whole thing around that, because also we've had people who have bullied us. You know, you've been bullied by other people, and it's not a thing. There are people who have unalived themselves because of being bullied. And sometimes too, it's about setting boundaries, that I will not allow you to speak to me that way. I will not allow you to treat me that way, nor to my children, nor am I have them go out and be rude and disrespectful to someone. Because sometimes mentally you don't know where they are. And so if you set those boundaries, that no, it stops here. Even on the job, even adults have issues with setting boundaries from other people who have been rude, who have been mean and nasty and disrespectful to them, even in relationships. And sometimes that can happen over the years. You're saying this because somebody went into your chat and said something to you. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens, but I'm just saying you have to set boundaries in every area of your life. Whether it's my chat here on YouTube, because trolls, it's engagement, it's moving things along, but there are other people here. So if I have respect, this is my house. Just think of it. Royce, thank you. My day's going well. So just think, if you have your house and you allow somebody to come into your house and say types of disrespectful things to you, then your visitor would be like, how does she allow that to happen? And so that's where I'm talking about. Yes, the boundaries are very important, not just here, it's in other areas of life. So choose to say, how are you going to show up? Choose to how people are going to treat you and how you are going to respond to that. Because it makes a big difference, guys. It makes a huge difference. So let me know, have you ever had a situation where you felt like somebody overstepped their boundaries and you were scared or shy to say anything to them? Not even being scared, but like, I don't want to, you've had that, Royce? Yeah. I don't want to upset them, but I had to deal with that. And sometimes too, you may lose a friend, you may lose a business partner, you may lose some opportunity, but why would you want to be in places and spaces where it's going to make you uncomfortable? Many of us have done that. I worked in places where I felt uncomfortable because I didn't rock the boat. But more than anything, I was disappointed that certain people showed up a certain way. And, I keep thinking, sometimes too, you may want to say, I'm hoping that they will do better. I'm hoping that they will change. I'm hoping that they won't have to treat the situation as such. But then after a while, people be tired. So you have to draw the line and say, this is enough. Well, I guess I don't know what Roy said, but we're going to, and one of the things too with boundaries is we're going to be respectful. Okay, thank you, Forgotten Dreams. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being respectful. Thank you for respecting this space. Thank you for participating, and I wish you the best. But yeah, guys, make sure that you are choosing how to show up in powerful ways, making powerful decisions around your life. And some things you would have to say, enough is enough. And when people think that they can get away with it, they will continue to, as they say, poke the bear. They will continue to mess with you. And you don't want that. So if you care for yourself, you're respectful of who you are and how you're choosing to show up, you will decide to say, I'm not going to have any more of that type of behavior or that type of talk, especially when somebody is rude and disrespectful to you. You don't want to do that. Right? So that's what I had to share for you guys. I didn't eat yet. It's kind of late, but I think I'm going to have my tea. I love tea. Thank you to those of you who came through. If you reached this far, drop me a purple heart, purple heart. Just let me know that you're here, that you've listened, that you found some value in what I had to say, and that moving forward, you love tea. I too. I love tea. So you're going to definitely make a decision this week. Make a decision on the boundaries and the lines that you're going to draw, and watch and see that either they'll comply, they will, or they won't. And it is what it is. All right, everybody, until next time. Thank you so much. Come back to the replay. Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, go ahead and watch some of the stuff while I was in Japan over on the playlist. You're going to like it. All right, take care now. Bye.